He walked the earth in the condition, felt the pain of his people. In 40 days and 40 nights he had to overcome evil. You ever try to speak the truth, but nobody believe you. He had a mission from the Father, go down, die for his people. Go read Isaiah 53, don't let go over your head. He knew that he would get betrayed, but he was still breaking bread. I am the truth, I am the way, I won't forget what he said. He knew that he was about to die, but resurrected in the dead. No way get high. Through all the pain, I still keep my shalom. The devil want us dead, he want us gone. I can't wait until he covering the alarm. No shalom. Just hold on, keep them commandments, cause he right on his way. Waking my people up, I want my people soul to get saved. Ain't no coincidence, we waking up all over the place. He put that crown up on my head, I wouldn't know what to say. This one for Messiah, Messiah, Messiah. This one for Messiah, Messiah, Messiah. This one for Messiah, Messiah, Messiah. This one for Messiah, Messiah, Messiah.
Shalom, Israel, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, and it is so about Hashem. I'm like Yahushai. Yahushai being the name of his son, with the word is called Jesus Christ. Alright? So the topic is Repercussions of World War III, the preparation before salvation. Right? Being given instructions by the Most High, this manual, we know the things that are to come. So we'll start with the book of Zechariah, chapter 2, verse 8. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory he hath sent unto me the nations which spoiled you. Right? For he that toucheth you touches the apple of his eye. Right? So the apple of your eye will be the center of your eye. Anybody touch you in the center of your eye, tears just come from it. You understand? You feel hurt, you feel disrespected. Right? So these wars is just a result of the judgment of the nations that come up against we as a nation of people. So these wars, we ain't supposed to fear them because these things are done for we. Right? Now, we go to Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. Right? And it reads, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Right? And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come up with great substance. Now, when the Israelites was in Egypt, right, it was afflicted, and afterward they come up with great substance. Same thing that happened to we right now. We in Babylon the Great kept this captivity, being afflicted, but afterward we coming out on to great honor. So any nation that rise up against you, right, the Most High judge. And all these nations was listed in the book of Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3 on down. Right? So we got the book of Romans chapter 15 verse 4. Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. And read, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that through patience and comfort of the scriptures that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So these things written for we to learn from them, not just say this was history, that was the past, it done and gone. We don't need anything. We ain't need any things. We got phones, we got laptops, We got self-driving cars. We got planes, right? Then people they wearing sandals and garments. Then they riding on chariots. They have used donkeys and horses and cows. Now we got tractors, so we don't go look at them. Them it's primitive. They said the things that are written aforetime or written for our learning, right? No, the God, know the God, patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one to another, according to Hamashiach Yahushua. So we gotta be like-minded. We can't got one person straggling behind, right? The chain is as strong as the weakest link. So we gotta have patience and show the comforts of the scriptures. We gotta be knowledgeable the things we living in, right? So let me get the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 26. And it reads, the principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of grapes, and oil and clothing, right? So these are things necessary for life. We don't need phones. We don't need diamonds and pearls, right? We need chiefly food, right? We need pots, right? That with iron and thing coming, salt for the flavoring, you know, the blood of the grapes to make some wine, because you know the wine make it the heart merry, right? So we got a Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 6, and it reads, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. So the Most High is saying, look, the tiniest ant, take a look at it and consider she ways and be just as wise, which having no guide, or overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. No, we know that through war, you bring oil prices high, oil prices, gas prices, petroleum, kerosene, diesel, high water bills, high electricity bills, right? Internet prices, you understand? So a lot of things, food prices. So it's saying, look, be as the ant and be wise. Now, if you know that it's gonna be a shortage of food, right? If you know it could be a shortage of food, well, you should be stocking up on. You should be stocking up on a gold. Nobody's not gonna eat gold in a family. Everybody be casting the gold, right? Everybody be casting up the gold. That's I won't want to jump the gun, right? But you gotta get into some husbandry. You gotta learn some preservation techniques, right? We gotta look to build up these storehouses, right? Verse 9. All over those sleep or sluggard, when will thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little falling by of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. So you don't want to be in need like an armed man. When a man have nothing and he arm himself with a weapon, the only thing he could do is look to teeth. He don't care about the repercussions. He just want, and he want it so bad that he gotta steal for it. He gotta take it from somebody. You understand? So we don't want to get caught up in this famine that won't be wise after being warned of a famine, after understanding the times that can lead up to the famine, right? So we gotta prepare ourselves. Now we get the book of Genesis, chapter 41 and verse 25. Right? And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good king, 7 years, and the 7 good years are 70 years. The dream is one. And the 17 and ill-favored king, that came up after the 7. Sorry, it's like it. And the 7 king, the 17 and ill-favored king that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty years blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. Right? This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he sheweth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty. Right, 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine. So right now we any time before the famine. So we going some good years. Right? We know famine is last for a good amount of years. So what we gotta do? We gotta utilize these good years before them bad years come. Right? And read. And all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land, and the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of famine following, for it shall be very grievous. So if this is before the time threshing, the day of judgment, right? The day that the Most High anger wax and his fury is carried out. Right? How much more this famine? Right? And read. And for that dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It was because that thing is established by God. No, through history you had a lot of famines through history, because these things are already established. So we know of certainty that it will come again. Right? And God will shortly so that here. It say, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out in mind discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. Right? So them preparing, right? They're preparing for the famine to come. So as I said, these things written for our learning. So we gotta let it do. You gotta let to prepare. You gotta start storing up. Right? Even if it's a little tin or something, a can of this. You know what I mean? Learn to pickle things, learn to steam things, dry out things, right? Verse 36, it said, and that the food shall be stored to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt. that the land perish not through the famine. Right? The Moses saying the famine his servants can eat. Right? But the Moses don't want to retard his servant. Right? He was warned of the things to come. You said, well, the Moses got me covered. Yes. But what you do? You just sit down. You ain't put in the work. You ain't put in the effort to store one tuna, 2 sardines, a salt. Right? You ain't prepared for nothing. Right? So we go to Genesis 42 now. Right? We're going to go to Genesis chapter 42 and verse 1. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do ye look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get ye down thither, and buy for us for things, that we may live and not die. Right? So Jacob and his sons, 11 sons, right, excluding Joseph, was in Jerusalem, right, in the land of Canaan, where there was no food. Right, the famine hitting across there. So through what is called the grapevine, they heard he got corn in Egypt, and they said, look, go and get some corn from doing Egypt so we don't die. You understand? Verse 3. And Joseph's ten brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt, right? Excluding Benjamin, of course. So good. When the famine hit, people that left in one place seeking food. No. I would get to that part. But then again, it get to that part. When you have food, but you ain't got the money, but you got a weapon, you see, you could be an armed man and you want. So you gotta be able to protect your things also. But I ain't really getting into that here too much. But you gotta protect your things. Alright? And we got a book of Amos. Chapter 3 and verse 7. And it reads, surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Right? So good. The Moses already tell me what is gonna befall us in the last days. So we gotta be wise. If you say there's a famine, be wise as Joseph and store up corn. Alright? You gotta take initiative. No, look how good look how wise Joseph was. Right? And who it helped his people. You understand? You might go store food, and a brother might run low on supplies, or a sister might run low on supplies, but you can give them a hand. Right? That's what very important for we. Some people got children. You understand? Some people might be a little disabled. You understand? You might got old people that you might go help. So it's best to be wise and store your food. If not, we can fall back into the curses where people could be eating their own children. Why? Because they wasn't wise to the knowledge of the Most High. We continue verse 8. The lion have roared, who will not fear? The Lord God has spoken, who can but prophesy? You know, so these things are already established as Joseph Starfield. Right? Ain't nothing you could do other than hearken. Right? And we get the book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 6. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6, and it read, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See ye, be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the war, just the beginning, right? For nation shall raise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. It is not the end of sorrow. It's only the beginning. You understand? War, pestilences, these things are just the beginning, right? So we got a good few years suffering, right, to come. So we gotta be wise. Make sure we move in the spirit of the Most High, right? If there's famine, prepare. Let me get Genesis 6 and 16 no 17. It's like it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wives, thy wife and thy sons' wives with thee, and of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark to keep them alive with thee, and they shall be male and female, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. To every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive, and take thou unto thee of all food, right, that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Now, even on the ark, Noah had carry food. Noah ain't just set up on the board. He wife, 3 sons, and his daughters-in-law just suffering. Noah that had food. He gathered, right? Are we gathering? Are we just waiting on a handout from the Most High? The Most High already give you the blueprint. What more you want the Most High do? You want to come and build, right? He give you the blueprint. Now it's for we to build. Verse 22. Thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him, so did he. So everything the Most High command we have to do the same way. We gotta move in wisdom and know what things we live in. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So right now we in this season. We in the season, a calm seas, sunny skies, right? Bright blue sky, you know, rain, in a hill, in a thunderstorms, earthquakes, tornadoes, in a volcano eruptions. Right now we still in smooth sea. It's like, so what you gotta do? You gotta prepare for the worst, right? You gotta go what's called a backup plan. See verse 2. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Right? A time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to ring and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time of peace. Right? So everything got its purpose. Everything has its purpose. Now, let me get the book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, verse 7. Jeremiah, chapter 8, and verse 7. Yea, to start in heaven, nor for appointed times, and the turtle, the turtle dove, and the crane, and the swallow observe the time of their coming, but my people know not the judgment of the Lord. So we don't want to be foolish to the judgments of the Most High. We don't want that these animals, right, could know their times, but we don't know what to do when we think them. Right? We gotta know how to move. We gotta be wiser than these animals. We don't want to be dumb, right? Just like what we see Isaiah chapter 1, we was compared to dumb animals. So if we could be compared to dumb animals, left, right, and center, must I say we look. But sometimes these animals even better than we. So we gotta move wise, right? And then we get the book of Second Ezra. Second Ezra, chapter 9 is where we want. Let's see. Just verse. Alright, good. Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. And it read, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. Right? And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the earth which he hath made. Now, we see the signs, so we know the time. But the key point in it, in verse 1, it says, measure thou the time diligently. You understand? Not saying, alright, just people out here and there. No, you gotta be diligently checking, right? You gotta be constantly watching. All the things at hand, and a lot of events will be happening, right? And a lot of things will be happening. Alright, it said, then shall verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and wars of the people in the world, then shall thou well understand that the Most High speak of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right? How you seeing? We seeing outrages of the people. We seeing the earthquakes. You understand? For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and the ending in effects and signs, and everyone that shall be saved. Right? So we as Israelites, we seeking salvation, we seeking to be saved. So here's what we have to do. And shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. So we have to got faith and works. Right? Christians don't know this was in here. Because they don't deal with the Apocrypha. Right? Faith was always there. Works is always there. Right? Verse 8. Shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land, and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which have now abused my ways, and they that have cast him away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Right? So whoever abusing the ways of the Most High, forsaking the grace, spitting upon the prophets, throwing out curses against Yahushua, these people that abuse the Most High ways can find themselves in torments, right? And instead of receive benefits, so they live in lavish, living delicious, right? They got a nice house, nice car, nice job. They get good benefits in their life, right? And they that have loved my laws, so they hate the laws of the Most High, well, they had yet liberty. And when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it, the same must know after death by pain. So a lot of people get feel in them days. And therefore, be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished. And when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. So the world is really created for the righteous Israelites. You understand? So we don't care how the ungodly be punished. We want them to from the wicked ways, but if that ain't really the Most High, that ain't really the Most High. But we got to inquire on how the righteous shall be saved, and keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. This is how we can get saved. And we jump across to Ezra 16 and 13. Ezra 16 and 13. It reads, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. No. Now when you look at these what they call them? I don't even know the name. Let's see. I think it's right. These things here. Right. I got these things here. Look at the flap, trap flap on the ground. And then when an archer look at the launch, he missile. He just bend it back and put it in the ear, right? Look at that there. Look a missile. We gotta draw that there. Just put a board there now, and I look like a direct board, right? But nevertheless, it's here for a strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. Listen, America can't escape. None of these nations can escape. They once they got missiles one for another. Right? These nukes one for another. And it reads, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth. So say again, shot in ends to the ends of the earth. These missiles just fly very far, right? Let me see. Let's see. Nuclear missile range. Nuclear missile range to the maximum. This missile its critical factors. Underground. Okay, look at the categories here. Right? Some 300 to 1,000 kilometers, 190 to 62, 620 miles. Short range, they got medium range ballistic missiles, 1,000 to 3,500 kilometers, right? 620 miles to 2,170 miles. They got intermediate range ballistic missiles, 3,500 to 5,500 kilometers, 2,200 to 3,400 miles. Right? They got the intercontinental ballistic missile, over 5,500 kilometers. Yeah. So they reach pretty far. Right? So it said in verse 14 again. Sorry, not 14. And the 13. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth, in a place that ain't gonna get them. Verse 14, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundations of the earth. These nuclear blasts just look very devastating. They don't left nothing but destruction. Right? Like as an arrow, which is shot off a mighty archer, returneth not backward. Even so, the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? So we gotta know whose side we on in them days. We gotta make sure that we spirit right with the Most High. Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So just as it said in Matthew chapter 24, that this is just the beginning of sorrows, the same thing as when says this is just the beginning, this is not the end. Alright, verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. No, these things is for the children of Israel to change their ways, but yet they may hearkening. You understand? You seen these things, you heard the prophecies, but yet you're looking at the Bible as a fairy tale book. Right? How this fairy tale book very true? That's like saying if Pinocchio was in a fairy tale, but you see Pinocchio alive in your face, you still calling it a fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale. This is reality. You understand? This is the reality. But people don't care. As I said, they mean mindful. Behold, victuals shall become sorry. Victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, right, which is war, famine, and great confusion. A lot of people ain't gonna know what to do when shit hit the fan. Verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other shall that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So the war together, right? The war together. But most important thing to understand, is who it's for, right? This is for the children of Israel. This is the recompense of the Most High, right? Let me get out of here. The 2nd Thessalonians real fast. Alright? This is the recompense of the Most High. 2nd Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6. And it read, seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So all these nations that get dragged into this war, these is people that come up against the children of Israel. And we gotta acknowledge that this is for we, and not supposed to be against we. Right? Only the wicked or our people could feel the pain. So the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Alright? So we don't know when he coming. He don't know when he coming. So we gotta make sure that we spirit right with the Most High. For when they shall say peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction come upon them. So don't worry about peace talks. You understand? Sudden destruction after peace talks. 5 nukes launch. You understand? As travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day shall come, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Right? So we the children of the light. We ain't in darkness. We know the things that's supposed to happen. We know the ways that we ought to walk, and we walking in them. Right? Verse 5. Ye are the children of the light, and the children of the day. Ye are not the night, not darkness, of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. That's why it told you in 2nd Ezra to measure diligently the time. Right? Verse 7. For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken. Right, so like it. Right, it said, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, but then on the breastplate of faith. So we gotta make sure that we got the faith in the Most High, in the Son, and in the Scriptures, and doing the things that we ought to do, and love. So we gotta make sure that we loving one another, loving Christ, and loving the Most High. You understand? Loving we neighbors, even the ones that are against we. And for an helmet, and the hope of salvation. So we gotta make sure that we actually believing in this salvation. Because remember in James, it tells you that the minded man is unstable in all his ways. And what they telling you before that is, don't think that you get anything from the Most High if you ain't praying with faith. Alright? Verse 9. For God have not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Mashiach, Yahushua Mashiach, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we shall live together with him. Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. So we gotta make sure that we teaching one another and comforting each other, letting we know it's okay, it's alright. Things happen, you gotta get back up and go. These are times that we was warned about. You understand? With that, say shalom.
Through all the pain, I still keep my shalom. The devil want us dead, he want us gone. I can't wait until he covering the alarm.